Brought to you in part by Susan Shute at Exclusive Realtors, servicing South Chicagoland, Northwest Suburbs, Kankakee, and Will County. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm going to go over my first impressions of the Tesla Model S Performance. I've had it for about 2 weeks. I did get rid of the CTSV to get this car, and we'll go over the reasons for that. That car was bought for me to be able to drive on the street and everyday stuff, kind of everyday stuff, not quite everyday, but and kind of make it fast, whatever. That all happened, but it ended up being like a track car. Like, yeah, it was still fine for the street, but I only wanted to drive it when I went to the track because it had so much power down low, it just never hooked up. It wasn't really usable on the street, like unless it's rolling. And I just don't. I'm not a roll racer person, but I just wasn't having as much fun with it as I wanted to. And in wet weather or anything like that, even in snow, forget it. I wouldn't want to even drive it because it was pointless. You couldn't even at speed. You couldn't even get on it because it wasn't going to hook up. So when I traded it in, we looked at the miles, and I had only put just over 2,000 miles on it in 2 years. So to me, it was sitting constantly. I'm walking past it every day to get to my truck to go to work and not driving it. And it just looked like a big heap of money sitting there doing nothing for me. So with that being said, with this Tesla here, all-wheel drive, I've driven it in the wet all the time, and it still accelerates perfectly fine. It doesn't even spin a tire at all if you don't want to. So for that alone, it's more drivable to me. The other thing, as nice as the interior is on the CTSV, as far as the way it looks great, but the GPS in it is like ancient history. My 0706 GPS screen was exactly the same. I think even my Chevy Volt was the same setup. I mean, it just sucked. It was hard to hook stuff up to the radio. There was no Bluetooth in it. It was ridiculous, really. So as far as tech goes, my 23 Ram was blowing that truck away, or I'm sorry, blowing that car away as far as tech goes. And it's just, just a bunch of things in the car that I would like to have in the car weren't there. But this Tesla's got more than I ever thought you could ever need in a car. I think right now the suspension is set to medium, but you can raise and lower the suspension with the press of a button inside, which is cool, and the stiffness, which the Cadillac did the stiffness part, but not the ride part, which I wish it did. The other part, the room in this thing compared to the Cadillac is just huge. Like, it's not even close. You got this giant opening if you want to ever need to take stuff in here, fold those seats down. It's just no comparison. I mean, the Cadillac didn't even have this opening here to put stuff in, and like it was smaller than that. So you got this gigantic 17-inch screen here. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with this here, but the tech's crazy. And here's all the stuff you got that you can do with it. I mean, I'll go over that in something else, but it's just way nicer in here, and the top's all glass. Now at low speeds, you can even up to 15 miles an hour raise it to have 7 inches of ground clearance. So you need to get over some speed bumps or a steep driveway, whatever, you can do it. I think that's super cool. The range on it, I'm getting, it's hard to say, I don't run it the whole way, but if you did the math, I would say we'd get about 280 to 300 miles to one charge. And the other pro is I can charge at work for free. So I haven't even had to pay for 2 weeks of driving this car to charge it. I did charge it here one time to test this charger here. I did do it for that, but other than that, I don't pay to charge this car. And if I was to go on a long trip, I would either take the truck, or the superchargers for these aren't hard to find, and I don't know. I probably won't go on a trip with it, but it doesn't matter. The truck is probably better for that. Main reason that I even found it, I wasn't even looking for one of these because they're typically expensive, but I did not realize when I was just looking at regular EVs that the prices came down so much. This was like $40,000 for this car. It was a couple years ago like $120,000 or $130,000 car for 40. So the price point's there. This thing is capable of 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds and run mid tens, and you can just drive it like a normal car if you want to, with no loss of drivability. So anyone even thinking about one of these, look at them now. The prices are way down. You cannot, for the tech you get, you can't beat it. It's self-driving. This thing will, you set the coordinates on the GPS and it will drive the whole way there. It's crazy. I mean, it stops at stoplights, changes lanes, whatever. You can even call it to you and it'll drive to where you're standing, or you can just drive it straight forward or straight backward using your phone. I've never had anything like that, so that just adds to the cool thing. If you're a tech person, you'll really like one of these cars, and I think the price point right now is perfect if you wanted to, or were ever thinking about getting one and haven't looked at the prices, because that is the only reason I have it. The other thing is a 19, so this still has 3 years, unlimited miles on the motors and the battery. And then the place I got it from, I do have a supplemental warranty on it that goes up to 100,000, but the factory is still covering the battery and the motors anyway, and I got the supplemental for the other little stupid things. But the ratings on these cars are very high as far as reliability, so I'm not too worried about that either. This is the Raven model because it was built mid of 19, so it has the permanent magnet front motor and the upgraded suspension, which if you're looking at one of these, it's just worth it just to go. I think they're just a few $1,000s more just to make sure you get that version. Do I think it would get range-wise if you were to be driving aggressively for most of the charge? I would say about 200 miles. But again, people hear that number and think it's low. It's not really low, because I've never gone out and just drove over 200 miles on a daily basis, and it's just not going to happen. If you're on a trip, it's going to go farther because you're not going to be driving like that. So it's probably going to go about 300 miles before you would have to put any charge to it. So all in all, I think it's a very good car. It drives solid. I went to test drive it one before I bought one. I didn't even buy the one that I drove, but I wanted to see if I wanted to make that switch. And that instant power, there's no description. It's just there right now. Instantly, it's hard to even describe it. No gas car that I know of that's not modified is come even close. Had I done things differently last year with all my car swaps, the dream setup I would have right now would be still my blue TRX and never done any of that other stuff, and then have a Plaid sitting here instead of this. But because of all my car switches and my equity I had and everything, for the numbers to sit right with me in my head, this one, which is a level below the Plaid, is what I went with. And maybe down the road I'll get one, but this car more than suffices. I mean, it's nothing normal on the street is going to keep up with it from at a stoplight, if you want to even do it. And I mean, I'm almost 50. It's not like I do that anyway, really. But if you want to be in a slot on the highway that you see in traffic, you're going to be there like a missile. So with that, it's a pretty fun car to drive. So it boils down to my reasonings. The price that these cars are at right now, that's one. Two, the fact that I can charge this thing free for work, at work, so I can drive it however I want to, as fast as I want to, mess around, whatever. And at the end of the day, I could just charge it free at work. And this works also with I live 5 miles from my work, so when I take it out, I can take it out and go wherever I want after work, or even over the weekend, and there's enough charge left in it to drive back to work Monday, where I could just charge it back up. So all my personal driving's covered too. 3, the usability, because it's all-wheel drive. I can drive it any day I want to, even in the snow. These are supposed to be decent in snow. I don't know how much I'll do it if it's really bad because I got the truck, but it's doable. 4, the room. It's got way more usable room to where I can actually, if I had to go pick something up, instead of taking the truck, like if it's something just large that will fit in this car, not something that like dirty like an engine or something, I could use this car and not use a truck that gets, 12 to 14 miles to the gallon. So there was just a bunch of positives. I feel like I'm getting more for my money out of this car than I was with the Cadillac. So that's it in a nutshell. So as always, when there's stuff to be done to this car, I will be going over it. And the only thing I didn't do, I did do the blacking out of the car, and I did not video that, but I'm not a professional, and there's a few blemishes here and there, so I didn't feel like it was worth me showing how to do it because it's not perfect, and I just don't want to put that on there. But it's just I got a few little blemishes here and there. Not bad enough to notice from 3 feet away, but up close you can see it. So I'm okay with it though. I just hated the chrome. I'm gonna put a larger rear deck spoiler on the trunk. That I'll do. That'll be super easy. I didn't do the front spoiler. I had it on the lift and I did it while I was up there. There wasn't much to it, but please like and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one.